Welcome everybody to MBL Tonight. I'm your host as always, Sonny Weaver. Week 7's almost closed out here, which means it's time to start looking ahead to the playoff hunt. The standings are interesting, a lot of changeover from last year to this year, so we're going to go through the standings and decide who we think can hold on and who we think may fall back. First up is going to be the AFC, and as you can see, the AFC's got some different players at the top of the board, so let's go ahead and take a look at what that may entail. Currently at number 1 overall is the Tennessee Titans. A lot of this can be attributed to the play of Marcus Mariota. Mariota's got a touchdown interception ratio of about 13-1. Far cry from some of the issues he's put up in past seasons. A lot of seasons have looked like the 18-20 plus ratio. This 13-1 ratio, we'll have to see if he can hold on to that. But that's what's allowed the Tennessee Titans to hold that number 1 overall spot. At number 2 overall in the AFC, you've got the Cincinnati Bengals. The play of quarterback Earl Powell has been the difference in the Bengals. He's completing a ridiculous 85% of his passes this year. Not sure they're going to be able to hold on to that kind of completion percentage throughout the season, but that's what's put the Bengals there at number 2 overall. At number 3, you've got the Denver Broncos. Now, these Broncos have been a welcome sight to see as quarterback Cole Parker's come back and push the Broncos back up to the top of the standings in the AFC. Parker's going to be the lead here as far as how far this Broncos team can go. If Parker can't carry the team, we'll see if the Broncos can hold on and win that tough division. The 4th seed right now is the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are coming off a big win over the San Diego Chargers. This Bills team has been kind of the sleeper in the AFC for a couple seasons now. At 5-2, they could easily jump to the top of the standings. They'll be a team to watch down the stretch. The wild cards are interesting. You've got the Pittsburgh Steelers at 5-2, just a game back against Cincinnati in the AFC North. Those Steelers have a dynamic offense. Quarterback Lucky Jordan's been up and down, but the offense as a whole has been off this season. At any moment, though, that offense could flip and you could see them put together a run. The 6th seed currently is the Houston Texans, just a game back right now of those Tennessee Titans. The Texans had a short stay in the playoffs last year, getting bounced in the first round, but this Texans team does not look like they're going to go away, so a lot to be seen there. Some of the bubble teams right now are San Diego, Kansas City, and the New England Patriots. All tough teams that are all within a shot of getting that division, so any of those teams could find themselves back in, especially the Chiefs and the Chargers in that tough AFC West division. Here on MBL Tonight, we're going to go ahead and pick our division winners early in the season. So what I'm thinking right now is I think the Tennessee Titans are going to hold on. Marcus Mariota's played really well throughout the season so far. I think that holds on. Texans are going to chase. They're going to come up short. In the AFC North, I like the Cincinnati Bengals to go ahead and complete it. That offense is clicking like you haven't seen before, and the defense has finally shown up, doing a lot of things on that side of the ball that's allowed the offense to succeed, especially leading in the turnover differential throughout the league. In the AFC West, I do think the San Diego Chargers are going to come back and win that division. The Chargers are a tough team. They are playoff hardened, so that team's going to come up. I think the Denver Broncos backslide a little bit in the back end of the year, and I think the Chiefs are going to be chasing throughout the year, but just come up short. And finally, in the AFC East, I do think those Bills are going to be the sneaky pick throughout the year. I think they're going to put up a fight. You may see them even in contention for a bye at the end of the season, so watch for those Bills to find their way into the playoffs. So we're going to go ahead and turn our way over to the NFC. Now, the NFC obviously has been a conference dominated by the Detroit Lions and the Atlanta Falcons, and not much has changed. So let's go ahead and look at the standings. So in the NFC, obviously, like we mentioned, the Detroit Lions sitting at 6-0 have really come on strong this year. Matthew Stafford gets hurt early in the year. They don't miss a beat with Zach Dyser. Sitting at 6-0, they're on bye this week, but they do have a big matchup next week against the Cincinnati Bengals. The number 1 and number 2 overall offenses should be a lot of fun to watch. At the 2nd seed right now, you've got the Atlanta Falcons. Normally in a tough battle with the Carolina Panthers, the Falcons have really not had much competition this year. Look for the Falcons and the Lions to battle down the end of the stretch there to see who's the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. At the 3 seed currently, we've got the Seattle Seahawks. They had a little blip last year. They ceded the division to those St. Louis Rams. The Rams kind of slid back this year. So Seattle kind of in control of their destiny. Look for Christian Michael to continue to carry that team. The running backs put up a lot of touchdowns on the board, and this team's going to go as far as Christian Michael's going to carry them. At number 4, we've got the Washington Redskins. These Redskins, with the upset of defending Super Bowl champion New York Giants just a couple weeks ago, they had the heartbreaker on MBL Live where they missed the game-tying field goal. Tough shank by Blair Walsh, but these Redskins look like they're going to be for real. So watch these Redskins throughout this season. The 5th seed currently is the New York Giants, the defending Super Bowl champions you can never count out. Mason, their quarterback, has really come on this year. Bridgewater comes back in a couple weeks. I'm not sure Bridgewater is going to get his job back, but these Giants can still score a lot of points. Watch out, they could be a dangerous wild card throughout the season. And as we mentioned, number 6 is the St. Louis Rams. Like I said, they backslid a little bit from their division winning ways last year, but they're still doing a lot of good. So watch these Rams throughout the year. I'm not sure they're going to have enough to catch the Seattle Seahawks, but they're in the hunt as we speak. The bubble here on the NFC side is a little lower. You've got a San Francisco 49ers team, Dallas, and the Vikings. Now, all those guys sitting about 3-3, 3-4, depending on their bye week currently. But some surprises there. The 49ers actually have shown a lot of improvement over the last couple seasons. Now, the 49ers are right there in the thick of things. Could they pull it off? I'm not sure, but that's something we'll be able to watch throughout this season. So, for the division winners in the NFC, let's go ahead and start from the top. I'm going to go ahead and take the Detroit Lions at 6-0 currently. Not sure they move to 7-0 next week against Cincinnati Bengals, but nonetheless, I don't think anybody in that division is going to challenge them. Matthew Stafford is doing Matthew Stafford things. The running game, surprisingly, has actually come on, so they're going to be one to watch. Number 2, I'm going to go ahead and stick with the Atlanta Falcons. As I mentioned, the Carolina Panthers have not shown what they've shown in the past, so these Falcons and Joey Bell are going to be right there at the end of the year to challenge the Detroit Lions for that number 1 overall seed. Number 3, we're going to go ahead and stick with the Seattle Seahawks. Sounds like we're going chalk, but so far these teams have separated themselves. So the Seattle Seahawks do end up winning that NFC West division. I think the Rams will challenge them down the stretch, but the Seahawks hold on to win the NFC West. And finally, you look no further than Washington Redskins in the NFC East. I think the Redskins, this may be their year. The Giants have looked to maybe have been in a Super Bowl slump. They've had a lot of close games this year that even though they weren't losses, they just as easily could have been. So I'm going to go chalk across the board here. I'm going to take the Redskins to win the NFC East. Now, you may think that was chalk, but that conference has historically been dominated from start to finish by those teams. I'm not sure we're going to have much of a race. I think the Giants may challenge those Redskins, Rams possibly challenging the Seahawks. But other than that, the NFC looks pretty set to me. So that's all the time we have here for MBL Tonight. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and you check out the other content going around. A lot of good content here on the MBL Network. For all of us here at MBL Tonight, I'm Sonny Weaver. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.